Hey, Jamie, when you watched the tape from yesterday, just what stood out to you about the way the defense played?
I feel like we play a good game. Obviously, we want to limit points and we want to get off the field every chance that we have. But a lot of good things to take away from that game. Obviously, we didn't get the outcome that we wanted. But again, going into this week, it's a lot of things that are positive, and it's going to be a great season for us.
Um, what did the coaches stress to you today about cleaning up the coverage things? That seemed to be where maybe the Steelers hurt you guys the most yesterday.
I necessarily wouldn't say they hurt us in any way. We hurt ourselves. I'll just put it on myself. The communication just have to be better from a standpoint. What I'm saying? Just getting it to them faster, just so everybody can get their cleats set, get ready to cover their man, and just have their job already in the back of their head. But again, I feel like for the most part, we did a good job. Obviously, they're good football players too. They're going to make plays as well. But I feel like in most situations, we just beat ourselves.
I mean, Aaron Glenn has talked a lot about you guys eliminating the penalties, cutting things down. Yeah, there's a few yesterday of personal foul varieties. Quincy had one on the sideline. John Simpson had one. How difficult is it when you're playing football? It's an emotional game, right? Like you got to be hyped up to be out there on the field to just go up to that line, but not step across it and get the flag.
It's hard. Quincy Williams, he's a heck of a player. Obviously, just a full-on motor. So his play, is hard. He was pursuing to the ball, and it just happens. So obviously, I'm not mad at him. In those situations, we got to be better. And then John Simpson, he was just protecting our quarterback. Obviously, the other player was, just trying to get under his skin. But at the end of the day, we're trying to implicate something here, and that's just riding for each other and just full throttle. And again, obviously, I'm not mad at my teammates for those plays. Just in those situations, we just got to be smart and just move on to the next play.
How encouraging was it the way the offense performed yesterday? And then does it get you really excited about the prospects overall as a team if you can clean some things up on the defensive side of the ball?
I love the way our offense played yesterday. Brees ran the ball very good. Offensive line looked very good. All the blockings, assignments looked precise. Receivers, I feel like they did a great job, and I just love the way Justin ran his offense yesterday. Obviously, as a defense, you love that. They were on the field for a while. Not too many 3-and-outs, so our defense was able to stay fresh every time we got to go on the field. No turnovers. And then as a defense, like I was saying earlier, there was just some communications. I put that on myself, and we just got to be better in those moments because we have a great team. And all we just got to do is play complementary football. And like I said, offense did a great job. Defense, we did a great job as well. But there's some little things on our side of the ball that we can clean up, and we're going to be great.
Danny, what did you think about the way you guys played run defense yesterday?
I'm pretty sure they finished the game with like 53 yards, 54. Quentin Williams had a heck of a game, and Harry and all the other guys on our D-line, Jermaine, Will, we showed up as a defense when it came to the run. And that's something we harp on in our room, stopping the run. Great defenses stop the run, and I feel like we did that yesterday.
Did you watch the Bills game last night after you got home?
A little bit, you got 24 hours to flush the game that you just played. So,
Right.
When our game ended, I watched the tape about a few times, trying to see where I can get better myself, trying to figure out the plays that I need to be better for my teammates and stuff like that. I will watch the tape tonight, obviously because we play them next week, so I can get a head start on that. But, yeah.
Did you catch kind of how that game went in the fourth quarter at all? Like, did you hear about it all today?
I heard they came back and won, but again, I had 24 hours to reflect on my game and my teammates' games and how we can be better and how can I be better going into this week. So I'll catch it tonight and see what I missed yesterday, but yeah.
You've seen Josh Allen enough in your career. You've faced him a bunch of times. What what kind of challenge does he present at this point, the way he's been playing the last few years?
I just feel like we just go out there and just play our brand of football. Obviously, again, what AG's been coaching, what Coach Wilkes is coaching, just being aggressive, being violent. Obviously we can't have those penalties that we had last week against a team like this. We just have to be on our details. We have to be precise in coverage, in the run game. And, ultimately we go out there and get a win.
How did you feel overall about the run defense yesterday?
Yeah, I always am very critical, and so I think that there's room for improvement. I'm not then saying my bar is that we hold every team we play to 50 rushing yards, but when you watch the film, the glaring things that come up in my own game specifically are the ones that you didn't make, the plays that you didn't make, the times your hands were off, your feet were off. And so it seems to me that we have a collection of players on our roster who take that same approach. Yes, we're happy that the rush yards were well under 100 yards and that we did some positive things, but I think there's more urgency, and if maybe that is our standard and we can improve from that. So I think Coach said yesterday there's no moral victories kind of a thing, but we can still be thankful for having our run defense what it was, but looking to improve it at the same time.
How did things go for you yesterday, just in terms of playing with a new team and knowing the calls and all that stuff?
Yeah, I hope that was my worst game of the year. That you think that I was trying to count. I think I only had 2 padded practices with this organization before I went out there and played. I think maybe 5 practices. Obviously some walkthroughs in there. But I was in a system for pretty much 4 years. If you include the off seasons and stuff, that was a completely different style. And I've logged 10,000 plus snaps playing that style. And as I watched the film, I was getting really frustrated with myself, seeing some of those old habits creeping in. And you can still play football well that way, but that's not what this defense calls for. And so, my hope for myself is that's the worst version of myself for this team. And then as each week goes by, I'm able to perform better and better. It was really cool. I was nervous that I was going to miss a play or not know a call or something like that. Thankfully, I was dialed in on the playbook side of things, and then I'm also excited to see how our rotation with the 8 or so different players on the front that I play with, our ability to work off of each other. I know on one of Will's sacks, I was able to kind of get in Aaron's face to make him pull the ball down, so Will was able to get home. One of Big Quinnen's hits on the quarterback, he was able to wrap me. And so some of those things where maybe I'm not showing up in the stat sheet, but I'm able to make players around me better, that's something I pride myself in.
You just touched upon it a little bit, but what did you make of the way you 4, obviously you guys are using rotation, but you 4, yourself, Quinnen, Will, and Jermaine worked together for an extended period of time?
Yeah, I think the cohesion is just going to pick up the more reps that we log together. And like you did mention, there's a lot of other players that, as our rotation goes, you can't just say, oh, us 4 work great together. No, we need to have this combination of 3 plus 1, 3D tackles, 1D tackle, 3. You need to be all on the same page. We're learning that right now. We're still trying to work on our communication. And so we're just going to log that through reps. And hopefully it doesn't take a significant amount of time, but you would hope that you're playing your best football in November, December, January, and hopefully into February.
I just asked Jamien about this, but when you see the offense get the kind of production that they did yesterday on the other side of the ball, led by Fields and company, what do you think about the potential of this team if you guys clean up some disciplined things and get things rolling on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, equal amount of optimism and equal amount of frustrations, because you're right. We probably should have won that football game when you look at the box score statistically. So uber frustrated because it's very hard to win in this football league and wins are hard to come by. And so, you're very upset that you lost that, but very optimistic again because you saw so many individual players do really well and individual pieces of the pie. I thought we ran the football incredibly, and you guys know that's a stat that matters: rush attempts and rush yards and running that back. battle. And again, somebody already mentioned the run defense. There's some elements that shined, but again, you have to reflect back to what AG said. There are no moral victories, but there's a few highlights.
I'm curious, Harrison, and maybe you'll tell me I'm off on this, but you went through Minnesota last year where Sam Darnold came in. He was a highly touted draft pick once upon a time here, and I think there was some doubts about him when he had to step in last year in Minnesota, and he played pretty well for you guys last year. Wondering if you see any correlation to Justin Fields here, where he was a high draft pick once upon a time, and maybe not a lot of people think he's going to play that well this season. And yesterday he played pretty well. Do you see any kind of similarities there between the two stories?
Yeah, I could see a narrative that you guys would find with that. Both elite talents, right? Both had elite production at the college level. And the NFL is a lot of situation and timing. And for Sam, he was put in a great situation. It was the right time. He had accumulated enough snaps and been around enough other great players and coaches to be a great version of himself to go almost win the division for us last year. And this year, you're looking at our guy. He surprised. I wouldn't say surprised, maybe some of the fans and those guys, but when I got into the building, the rhetoric on defense when we were going out to practice, like, be ready, we got to go defend this guy. And our scrimmage, I saw it firsthand. And so I do think that his arrow is pointing really high, and situation and timing. And also one more thing I'll add to that is there's a lot of power in someone looking at you and saying, giving you the keys. There's a lot of power in someone looking at you and saying, we trust you, go be yourself, play free. And you might not have that in other places. And just having a team that believes in you, a coaching staff that believes in you, I think that can really alter people's careers for the better.
It's been a while since you played for the Bills, but I'm guessing you probably played them when you were in Minnesota at some point.
Yep.
But does this have any special meaning for you, facing your old team?
Yeah, absolutely. I was very thankful for my time in Buffalo. You guys will hopefully get to know me, but I run a nonprofit called Harrison's Playmakers. We work with individuals with developmental differences and special needs all across the country now from the places I've played. I'm excited for my New Jersey chapter. But my Buffalo chapter is still the biggest and most active chapter I have. I still have a volunteer team in place in Western New York, and we work with 700-800 families with children and young adults with special needs in the Western New York greater area. I go back each year to put on camps, and we do Christmas and holiday shopping sprees, back to school events, things for veterans around Thanksgiving, 10 or 12 things a year my team still does in Western New York. So got a lot of parallels there. Also have friends for life in that organization, on that team, and neighbors in the community of, I think they call it the City of Good Neighbors is in Western New York. So have a lot of love for my people that are still over there, and then always fun to go against one of my good friends from my time in Buffalo, Josh Allen. So excited for that.
What's it going to be?
I mean, Josh was talented, right, from day one, but like it feels like he's elevated to a different level the last 2 years or so, maybe. Like, I mean, MVP last year. What's it been like watching him just progress the way he has?
Yeah, not shocking. Yeah, I know you said I saw it early on. Saw his work ethic from OTA day one. We have the same agency. Same draft class. I could see it from very early on, and he's a competitor. He is chronically competitive at anything. I don't know if I've ever beat him in anything ever, even calling shotgun to a car. I never beat him. So it made it even more special than when I was with Minnesota and we went and got a road victory in Western New York. That was very special. So, yeah, excited for the test this weekend.